Where are you winking at?
Oh, sorry, she's behind the tree.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
For you watching this on YouTube in the digital age, come and say hi in person too, right?
Yeah, right.
Walk
I agree.
your neighborhoods. Enjoy the parks. Enjoy the scenery. Enjoy your neighbors.
Right.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Living in Green Bay. I am Andrew Geiwitz. I am here with a couple of new friends of mine, which I will introduce you to in a minute. Just want to remind you too that I'm also a local real estate agent here in Green Bay. Would love to help you out with any of that stuff, which is where some of these videos are coming in anyways to help you get to know the different neighborhoods in Green Bay better as well. So with that in mind, I want to introduce you to a couple of my friends, Kayla and Andrew.
Andrew Branham, and been down here in the Navarino neighborhood a little over 3 years. Rented for a couple years before that, and also grew up just a little south of Green Bay. Came up to UWGB and stuck around after getting a job. And then Kayla, we met mutual friend's wedding, and I was able to talk her into moving to Green Bay after finishing grad school and marrying me. You know, definitely married up there.
We chose this neighborhood really because we fell in love with the house is what drew us here. We live in a house that was built in 1908, and we love the character of the house and the neighborhood. Things we love about the neighborhood is we love the walkability of our neighborhood. So we have sidewalks that we can just walk around our neighborhood, and it's been a great way to meet neighbors. We also have a nice quick walk down to downtown.
How far is it?
It's like
Half a mile.
Half a mile?
Yeah, you can get to downtown in under 10 minutes. Yeah.
Walking?
Walking.
Less than 10-minute walk. Okay.
Yep. And you walk primarily through our neighborhood, and then you're into the business district of downtown. So it's been fun. We can walk down, have supper, have lunch. We've in the summer when they have lunches on City Deck, we've enjoyed doing that. We also love to go down to the farmer's market on Saturday morning. That's probably one of our favorite things to walk to downtown, and so we're able to get produce for the week, support local businesses, and just have a good time. When we are out and about, it's whether we're downtown or within our neighborhood, but actually especially being downtown, we often bump into neighbors. So it's really, our neighborhood is out and about a lot. Right over behind the camera, we have beautiful Navarino Park.
We'll go check it out.
Yeah.
The name goes back to the formation of Green Bay, actually.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, the Navarino name was one of the original townships in the area. I don't think that it was necessarily specifically this area, but just from a link to the historical, was adopted, as part of, as the name of, this neighborhood, which the neighborhoods were kind of formed. I think it was around the 70s or 80s by the city to try and to develop that sense of cohesion amongst neighbors and draw people together to really, build up the community. So it's neat being near downtown, and you have a lot of these old homes. So like Kayla said before, ours is from 1908.
Yeah.
And you've got so many other homes that are from the early 1900s. And some of the interesting characteristics you'll see as compared to some of the new builds you'll get out more in the suburbs of Green Bay is you have a lot of front porches around here, like we're sitting on right now, which is just a beautiful way to enjoy the neighborhood and also to interact with your neighbors. That as people are walking by, we've got to meet so many of our neighbors, just say hi, and some people don't want to strike up a conversation, but a lot of people do. And have a short chat, and over different times of interacting, you get to know more and more people. And
If you bought a house here, you would maybe get to walk by and say hi to this lovely couple,
Yeah.
because I don't see why they wouldn't be sitting out here.
yeah.
Yeah. And we even have chairs for our kids too. And our kids love this as well. And it's been a way to also show our kids like how to have healthy and fun relationships with neighbors. You know, how do you get to know somebody, especially in a digital age where we have people walk by that our kids are really comfortable, like, busying with, not because we've hung out with them a lot, but because we have this front porch interaction with them.
Mm-hmm. And so for you watching this on YouTube in the digital age, come and say hi in person too, right?
Yeah, right.
Walk
I agree.
your neighborhoods, enjoy the parks, enjoy the scenery, enjoy your neighbors.
Right.
Yes.
And for us too, it's been also thinking about watching out for your neighbors too. You get to know, kind of, even if they're not next door neighbors, you get to know the people on the blocks over or the next street over. And, if something does look suspicious, neighbors will say, hey, have you seen this going on? This seems a little concerning and stuff. So it's a way of, they used to have what they called neighborhood watch. Really, our neighborhood has that just because of people walking and caring for each other in that. So. Yeah, and our neighborhood has, it's an old neighborhood. So our house was built in 1908. So you've got some really cool character homes.
Yep.
And NeighborWorks is right in our neighborhood, which is a nonprofit that does a variety of work. Some of the work they do is restoring homes that need some TLC. They do some new builds, and they all but one of our favorite things of what they do is they help people. They help people figure out how to own their own homes. So people that might have just been like, oh, I can't do it, I don't have the knowledge to do it, or I don't think I could afford it, they'll work with them through classes and teach them these are the steps that you would need to do to be able to own a home and help them get into their homes. So yeah, we have neighbors who have purchased homes in our neighborhood because of their work. And NeighborWorks also
Do they provide grants as well?
They do provide, I think it's more of loans, I believe, of what it would be.
You can check out their stuff. They have their own website and a lot of other information there too. I've worked with them in the past. Actually went to some of their classes and things in the past as well myself. So definitely check out NeighborWorks, and I know they have a pretty robust website with a lot of that information. So
tying in with NeighborWorks in our neighborhood here, so just a couple blocks away you have NeighborWorks. Right behind them, they converted an old armory building into a kind of hydroponics.
Yeah.
And they call it the Farmery.
Okay.
Now that they've converted the building from what it was to now this kind of hydroponics farming with the plants and stuff on the top. You've got the algae and everything, and the fish then feeding off the algae. And right now, the perch that they are producing are being sold to local restaurants and everything. As well as they use it as a tool for training volunteers. Anyone that wants to volunteer, they'll teach them how to do this so that they could go and do it at home. They have classes as well if you don't want to necessarily just volunteer. But so there's multiple ways that they try and teach, educate, individuals throughout the community, sustainable, farming, both of the plants as well as, fish in this type of structure, so that you could do this on a small scale at home if you wanted, even if you have the space in your garage or your basement or somewhere where you could do it.
Do they sell the farm, like the end product? Do they sell that there?
The fish and the vegetables and stuff that they produce, my understanding is currently all sold to local restaurants.
Okay, so it's sold to restaurants. Okay.
Yep, and all local. So it's really cool that it's locally grown, supporting local restaurants, kind of tying in that way.
So Navarino Park has a fun history. So we are part of the neighborhood association and currently, but past board members were really got it going through the city that we needed a park in our neighborhood. So what happened before there was Navarino Park is that any kid in our neighborhood had to cross a major street to get to a park. And so this was years ago when there was some concerning houses. They approached the city and said, hey, what if some houses were taken down and we made a park there? So they first made a small park while they worked on developing a bigger area for the park. So I believe about 25 to 30 houses over a few years were purchased and demolished, which now we have this big green space in our neighborhood with this beautiful park. Where the old park was, which was the smaller park, that then NeighborWorks bought and developed townhomes, which now there's these beautiful row of townhomes that fit the character of our neighborhood and also drew in some really cool neighbors. So the Navarino Park, though, great place for our kids to play at. A part of the neighborhood association has been continuing to work on developing it and worked with the Parks Department to get our walking loop finished. So it's a 300-meter walking loop that was finished last fall, and it has been a blast to see families out, teaching their kids to ride bike on it, just enjoying a little stroll around the park. We don't have a lot of businesses right in our neighborhood, but the ones that are, we'll see some of their employees coming over and taking a little stroll on their lunch breaks and stuff. Our neighborhood association also is very active in promoting safety within our neighborhood, and just during COVID, we fundraised $15,000 to put in more lighting in the park, so that when the loop was finished, there will be lighting all around the park. So that if people are walking, dusk or early morning, or if they're walking through the park late at night, that they'll feel safer with it being improved lighting. So we don't have those lights in yet, but they're soon to come. We have the money, just waiting for it to get scheduled and installed. So
it's getting brighter in Navarino Park. That's what I'm hearing.
It is, yeah.
Another question we wanted to kind of give you guys some information on is just how to get connected with the neighborhood association here in Navarino, how Kayla and Andrew got connected as well. So I'll throw it over to you. How did you guys get connected? I know you're the president. Is it a double presidency thing here? How does that work? Secretary, okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
He's a really strong-looking secretary. Don't mess with him.
And I get to refer to her as Madam President.
Yes, right. Yeah, we have fun with it. So when we moved in, our next door neighbor, she's actually the president of the neighborhood association. One of our first questions she asked us was, "Are you going to come to the neighborhood association meetings?" And we, where we had lived before in Green Bay, we had gotten a postcard about our neighborhood association, but never really. Being a renter, we knew we were there short term, and we never really got connected. So we were like, yeah, this would be a great way to meet neighbors. And then we also, from being involved, have learned it's a way to love our neighborhood at whole by being a part of the leadership of the neighborhood. So, our neighbor, and then we ended up having other neighbors who are also on the neighborhood association invite us. Our neighbor, next door neighbor, ended up moving, and it was like, well, somebody needs to be president, and I had the time and ability to do it, so I stepped into the role. For me, it's been it's an interesting role because you start to learn so much about the city as well of like if there's an issue, like what are the supports in the cities, how to keep your neighborhood growing and strong. There is an organization called Green Bay Neighborhoods, GBN, which is the nonprofit where all of us neighborhood associations in Green Bay come together and talk about things, what's going on at the city at whole. The mayor comes and shares information with us. Also, they provide some challenges too of like, what are you guys doing in your neighborhood? Like what events are you guys gonna plan to connect with each other, especially during COVID? It was good to be reminded of just because things kind of locked down doesn't mean that you should stop caring about the neighbors around you. So yeah, for us, we see this as a way of loving on our neighbors as Christ would call us to. So that was part of our mission and calling to get involved too.
Throughout the city, there's so many neighborhood associations that, whether you get a chance like we did, that our neighbors across the street next door and stuff, when we moved in, we're on the neighborhood association, we got connected that way. Or you can look it up of what neighborhood do I fall in under, and there's contact information there if you look up on the city's website of how to get connected. So it's a great way to get to know your neighbors, your neighborhood, and if you're looking to give back to your neighborhood specifically, a great way of, you can spend just a little bit of time and make a big impact in your neighborhood.
So when the park was created, the neighborhood association wanted to start a reading program to promote literacy in neighborhood families, and it's an awesome program. Any family can come. You don't have to live just in Navarino.
Oh, okay.
So we invite our friends to come to it too. We have different members of the community come. So last year we had a number of teachers from Howe Elementary. We have police officers. Just a variety of members who will read a story to the kids, and then every family gets to take home the book too as a way to promote literacy at home.
A book.
Yes, yeah. So it's also a good way of of getting kids comfortable meeting a police officer or or somebody in leadership positions that maybe they didn't feel intimidated to talk to, but to realize like, these are human beings. We all want to know each other and care for each other. So that's been a fun thing that we've continued on. How we are in Howe Elementary School District, and there's a nonprofit associated with the school districts called Howe Community Resource Center, and they are also doing some programming in our park where they partner with other nonprofits to do either they might do a painting night or bingo, or they do that once a week in the summer, and they have been such a support of our neighborhood because these are the families that they're serving, and they also just like care about our neighborhood a whole bunch. So they're really great people to sponsor or to partner with. Excuse me.
So the park isn't just really well lit; it's very active as well.
Yeah, right. And we, we love seeing activities happen in the park, and some of this is planned and organized. There's also a lot of spontaneous activity, like we have a neighbor kind of kitty corner from the park that they have large family gatherings where they like to do a volleyball tournament. So they set up their volleyball nets and they'll have a cookout and a good time. So you see families using it, and just like I said before, of like, because there's so much, people walking in our neighborhood, people hanging out in the park, it's a way also to just connect with neighbors in the park. So. It's also, I think, in like future-wise, we're also a great neighborhood for people working downtown. So even if you don't have kids, whether you're empty nesters or you just don't have any children, this is a great neighborhood to be in. You can walk to work. There's a strong sense of community, of knowing each other, and there's just lots of things to get involved in being in a near downtown neighborhood.
If you haven't got a chance to drive around this area, we're going to put the Navarino neighborhood on a map so you can see it here. But come check it out, drive around. I've definitely driven through the streets here before and checked it out too. It's a really great way to get to know the neighborhood, and it's a pretty well laid out neighborhood because of how historic it is. It's pretty well organized streetwise when they laid out the city. And we'll put links to the neighborhood association page and any other stuff that we can in the description below the video, so you can check that out, get more connected if you're already in this neighborhood and you just found this video that way. So you can actually kind of take those next steps like Andrew and Kayla are talking about to get more connected to this area, or if you're moving here, talk to experts who can kind of fill you in and maybe give you a reason to want to move to this area.
And if you have any interest in, restoring an older home.
Sure.
Like, we have some really beautiful homes, and we have some homes that needs a little bit of love.
So roll up your sleeves.
Yeah, right? Yeah. So there's a lot of great opportunities here. And if you move to our neighborhood, we will personally bring you a box of Cerrugi's chocolates from the Branham family. So, yes.
So there you go. Like, you can get chocolate, a beautiful park that's growing, and an area of the city that's, you know, improving, and people who care about it and who want to see it be, you know, good and good for everybody who's a part of the community here locally in Navarino. So anything else you guys want to share before we wrap it up and go run over to the park and take a little tour?
We'd love for you to be our neighbors. Yeah. I mean, I think about, like, Mr. Rogers and how, like, his, like, just desire to know his neighbors and to care for them. And that's really what our neighborhood is about. Like, I mean, people genuinely care for each other and watch out for each other and want to get to know each other. And yeah, it's just a really great neighbor. So won't you be our neighbor?
There you go. If you want to see the video talking or showing you the park, and maybe, you know, we'll go check out some other stuff too, we will do a kind of a neighborhood tour video as well, and you can check that out in the video right in this area. We'll put it up here when we get that done. And yeah, get to know Navarino a little bit better as a very old and historic part of Green Bay, and one that has a lot of cool things going for it. So should we go check out the park?
Let's do it.
Okay, let's go.
All right.